What's good, y'all? Today we're going to talk about Gear Ascension and especially this chest over here. As early as level 40, as soon as you clear Nightmare, as soon as you clear the first difficulty of Void Rift, you're going to get your first Gear Ascension Material Choice Bundle. And at that point in time, obviously no one really has a clue what to pick there, how to choose. And that's also my first tip. As soon as you get that chest, and if you don't really know what you're doing, just click later. So just click on later at the bottom left, click later on the bottom left again, and then forget about that chest. Now, once we actually want to talk about what to really ascend, let's talk about what does Ascension do first. So what happens if you ascend a piece is that you keep the substats, but you increase the main stat, so the big one, by 10%. Furthermore, you also change the set effect from the blue version into the respective golden one. So in this case, Life Force turning into Immortal Warrior, Calamity turning into Warlord. Then we have Asclepius turning into Invigoration, Night Terror into Ageless Wrath, the Wisdom set into Soulbound Arcana set, and lastly the Insight set into the Infernal Raw set. So that's pretty much how Ascending Gear works. You keep the same substats, you increase the main set by 10%, and you change the set effect. And that's also where the first problem lies with those materials over here. Actually, upgrading weapons or armors is in no way, shape, or form comparable to actually upgrading bangles, amulets, or rings, because the change in set effect and the change in main set are both so minuscule that they might as well not exist. For example, here for the Calamity set, the only benefit is 30 attack speed, which is just super minor. And also, as you can see, 360 HP on the chest piece, which is legit whatever. It is whatever. Same for the weapon. The weapon even also gets 30 attack speed, obviously because of the same set, and 96 attack. 96 attack is again pretty much nothing. Same for Life Force. You get a 10% defense bonus, which is like a third of a golden defense roll. At the end of the day, if you want to pick something from your chest, never ever pick the Mother's Tree Spirit. Left side gear just isn't worth it. Never. And then now onto the interesting part, and that's going to be between Gear Rate 2, so Primitive Spirit material, and Gear Rate 3 material, Enchantress Spirit. For that one, it's a bit more difficult, but at the end, not that difficult. So for the blue material, Asclepius, actually ascending the Asclepius set honestly never really worth it. The only reason you would ascend an Asclepius set is to maybe finish off your Dolores gear endgame wise, or maybe finish off your Elwyn Hollow layer gear. But when you're at the point where you're using Ascension material to ascend gear for a Dolores, then you already don't need to worry about ascending gear at all. And Night Terror set, pretty much if you would want to rank the three golden sets, so Ageless Wrath, Soulbound Arcana, and Infernal Raw, then you would probably rank Soulbound Arcana and Infernal Raw at the top and Ageless Wrath below, just because of how the set effects work and where they are useful in which kind of content. So in general, actually ascending pieces into Ageless Wrath gives you a slightly weaker set compared to actually ascending into Infernal Raw or Soulbound Arcana. But at the end of the day, it all depends on what kind of content you're farming. If you're predominantly and mainly farming Gear Rate 2 and just have a lot of ancient Night Terror pieces or Night Terror pieces that roll good in general, then you might as well make yourself an Ageless Wrath set. But especially if you're farming both in equal measure or even farming more Gear Rate 3, which is obviously the best way for progression, then I would definitely recommend to ascend either Wisdom or Insight set. On another note of ascending, those materials here are really rare. It is, I would say, probably 2000 runs per gear rate for 200, and that's already talking a bit above average. It's around 1 in 10, plus or minus. And Yeah, we all know how gear rolls. Actually finding a piece that is as good as an ancient piece and really gives you at least around full purple substats to ascend is really hard and really rare. So in most cases, you're actually going to wait until you have number one, 200 of the Ascension materials, and number two, actually five of those Eternal Bullions, because those are required to actually ascend pieces that are ancients. And obviously, ancients are a very good target for Ascension because, in general, ancients roll two stats above 50%. So, two bars are guaranteed to be at least above 50%. And furthermore, you have a very high chance at good main stat plus good substat. And then now onto an example. So, what you want to do in deciding if you want to ascend a piece or not is you're going to find yourself a character and then try to already build him out. For example, I've taken the Salazar. We have two Soulbound Arcana pieces already, and if we ascend this ancient piece, that would be the last fitting, the last missing piece. And now the problem with ascending, you shouldn't worry about ascending too early, because the only point in ascending is if you can actually make a set with it. There is no need to ascend a wisdom set if you're still going to run a broken set. That 10% stat boost isn't really important, and furthermore, you're going to lose the ability to run this piece in another wisdom set because it turns into a Sorbonne Arcana set at that point. So the most important part is to have two pieces already, or the ability to ascend two pieces at the same time to build a three-piece set. So the biggest rule number one is only ascend if you can actually build a three-piece out of it, and only ascend pieces that are good. What would I define as good? If you're talking offensive pieces, and also in general, you really only want to ascend pieces that help your offensive characters, so what you really want to look for in every single piece is going to be crit damage, attack bonus, crit rate, and attack speed at the minimum. Those four at the minimum. Everything that doesn't meet those isn't ascension worthy. And furthermore, if you can, you would obviously look for at least everything purple. I know it might take a while, but it definitely takes less time to find a piece like this than actually farming 200 ascension materials from the gear rates. So yeah, rule number one, only ascend if you have two fitting pieces or you can make a three piece. And rule number two, only ascend if it has those four mentioned stats. Obviously, everything past that, gold rolls, extra subset just makes it more worth it. So yeah, at the end of the day, the Ascension system isn't anything super special or super complex, but there is a lot you could do wrong. So